Okay, so hey guys and welcome back to another Axel 72 video, and in today's video I'm going to be giving my prediction for the Desley Robinson versus Chloe Chaos fight. And so if you are new around here and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so, like the video if you do indeed like the video, and let's get straight into it. So this fight of course is for the IBF World Middleweight title. It's a title in which Desley Robinson won the vacant version when she beat Scott last time out. It was a good performance from her. It was a rematch, and so it was always going to be maybe a bit more of a tricky contest for both fighters because, of course, they fought once and everybody kind of assumed and thought that Desley Robinson won that first one, but Scott was the one that was given the win. And so, it was a deserved rematch. It was a few fights down the line. Of course, it had the world title on the line. And Robinson looked good. I got my prediction right for that fight. I thought she'd be able to win that fight. And like I say, I thought she looked good. I thought she was throwing more in combinations. But when she was also sitting down on her punches, I think she was throwing with more effect. Obviously, there was quite a few head clashes, and the defense of Desley Robinson was quite poor, and when she did get into exchanges in close, it was quite sloppy, quite messy at times, but she used her size, even though Scott was also a big fighter, and was able to have success. That's something in which she can definitely utilise coming into this fight versus Chloe Chaos. This is a good matchup, I think, two Australian fighters fighting for the world title. Of course, it's a belt in which hasn't really got much recognition, and that's no real surprise, to be completely honest. It's in a division in which the middleweight division in women's boxing really hasn't got too many standout names. I mean, of course, it wasn't too long ago since we've seen Savannah Marshall and Clarissa Shields fight around the, I believe, super middleweight division, but since then there's really not been much action. This belt was vacant because Clarissa Shields moved on and now she's up in heavyweight, and so I think it would take a lot for her to want to really realistically move back down or come at least all the way back down to the middleweight division. And so it means that the division hasn't really got too much life left in it, but possibly one of these fighters could come through and be a star fighter. I highly doubt it, to be completely honest. I mean, the actual fight between Scott and Robinson was on an undercard of Brock Jarvis making his return against a nobody type of fighter, and it was quite far down the undercard, and so it's clear that the actual fans aren't giving too much attention to these belts just yet, but like I say, they're still world title fights and they still deserve recognition, and I still believe this fight is going to be a good fight. I feel like, unlike Scott, Chaos will throw, and she will be able to throw on the back foot or the front foot. She won't be quite as one dimensional as that of Scott, and I feel like that could create a good contest and an entertaining contest, and I feel like that's what's needed. Like I say, it's a all Australian clash again, which is again adding to the entertainment, and it's giving Chloe Chaos this opportunity in which she hasn't had yet in her career. Somebody like a Desley Robinson has fought higher levels of opposition. She fought Lainey Daniels, of course Scott already, Scott now twice, plus another 10 rounder. She's had that bit higher level of experience compared to that of somebody like Chaos, who hasn't had much experience realistically at all. She's had a couple 4 rounders and 6 rounders. I don't even know if she's had an 8 rounder yet. She's coming off fighting multiple fighters who were making their professional debuts, and so she's looked good against much lower opposition, and to be fair, a lot of them haven't really been the best, but she, like I say, she's looked good against them, and she's been able to have knockout success. 3 of her 6 wins, I believe, in knockouts, which is a very nice record to have, but it's not, like I say, against high level opposition at all. And when you are calling in debutants, it's tricky because you have literally nothing to go off of how good they actually could be, and from the scenes of what I've seen, they haven't really been the best, and it's also showcasing the kind of difficulties finding opponents in this division. So maybe that's why Chaos has been thrown into a fight like this, perhaps possibly a bit too early. But like I say, she has shown elements of success. Like I say, she'll throw her hands. She also be quite messy and maybe a bit less accurate. I don't think she sits down on them quite as much as Robinson, but I think she could actually be a bit more aggressive than that of Robinson when she wants to be. And so, like I say, it has all the makings to be a good fight. This is, I don't even know if it's a main event for the actual card. The card's not a big card. The show's not a big show in Australia, but I don't even think it's the main event. It should be. I hope it is. But nonetheless, like I say, I thought I'd give a prediction on it. I feel like Desley Robinson has at least turned her career around, and what she's doing at the moment, if she's able to get a defence here as well, is more than what I'd imagine at one point in her career she would have ever even imagined possible. And so that's full credit to her. I like that as a kind of underdog type of story. I think that Robinson's going to win this one via unanimous decision, possibly sheerly just because of the size of her. I feel like I don't know the official kind of stats between the size between the two fighters, but I do believe she is much kind of taller than that of Chloe Chaos, and I feel like Chaos, like I say, hasn't had the experience. She can miss her shots when she's in close with smaller fighters. She'd probably be able to land more so with Desley Robinson, but I don't feel like she's going to be able to land to the head. And I feel like Desley Robinson will sit down on the body shots nicely and be able to land consistently. And I don't feel like Chloe Chaos has the power to be able to get somebody like a Desley Robinson hurt or, out of there or anything like that. So I do believe that Desley Robinson is going to be able to win and have success throughout with her, you know, relatively fan friendly style for the most part. Like I say, if Scott was champion, she perhaps doesn't have that more so fan friendly style. It's a bit more, you know, tight and tense and, like I say, one dimensional. But Desley Robinson has a bit more about her, and so I feel like it can, like I say, be an entertaining contest, this one. But like I say, Robinson, I have to win via unanimous decision. Then who she could fight next, it's really a tricky one. I mean, when you look around the middleweight division, there is literally no other Australian fighters there. But, Casamassa is a 6-0 fighter. Just a name that I'm throwing out there. Possibly that could happen. I doubt that there'll be any other kind of big names involved for a next fight for Desley Robinson, unless Savannah Marshall wants to come back and wants to straight away going for a crack at a world title. She could very easily do that, but I feel like she just won't care enough to fight something like a Desley Robinson because there won't be that much attention or attraction there. Maybe it could be argued as a comeback fight and a tune-up fight. I don't even know. Or maybe something like a Shadesha Green. I feel like that could be the best opportunity to get the biggest fight for Desley Robinson. She's WBO, of course, super middleweight champion. She's with Most Valuable Promotions. She's not looked amazing all the time, so I feel like Desley could come and maybe cause us some problems. But we'll have to wait and see if that does happen. And of course, like I say, Desley Robinson is tall, like I say, and big for the weights, so that could maybe happen as well. It'd be a fight that I'd be, interested in. I just don't know if I necessarily see that happen next. Hopefully. But yeah, that is it for today's video. Hope you did enjoy. Like the video if you didn't, need like the video, subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.